toes, taking out a few SCVs, taking out a refinery, taking out a supply depot here and there, just really doing a great job of forcing this immobile Terran force of these BCs to constantly be moving around and really keeping him inside his base right now with those BCs. So those battle cruisers right now are not going to be a huge threat to him. Although it looks like there is a ton of static defense going up right now, going to try to defend against those by just getting a ton of static defense so those mutas cannot harass, especially that high yield base, and one lone Hellion trying to get away from this deadly Zerg force, and a lot of Corruptors starting to come out on the map as well, which Corruptors are very, very strong against the battle cruisers. So he is not only going to have the units he needs to deal with the battle cruisers, but he is also going to be able to morph those into Broodlords to take on the ground forces once the BCs have been dealt with. But looking at MaDFroG, he actually has another expansion going up down at the 6 o'clock position here. There are a couple more Hellions, and MaDFroG has had this base up forever, but he has not been able to do anything with it because these Hellions just keep coming over here and harassing everything. And it looks like, once again, there are no drones mining here. So MaDFroG probably a little bit frustrated with how much he has tried to defend this base unsuccessfully, although the efforts he has spent on trying to attack this base have let his other bases thrive pretty well. So it looks like TLO actually in a little bit of a corner here. He is going to try to push out against the Zerg right now, which he does have a very formidable force, a lot of mech and a lot of air. So we're seeing Hellions, Thors, tanks, BCs, and Vikings all in the mix, and of course he is bringing out some SCVs so that he can repair all of these mech and ship units because those SCVs are basically the mech unit form of a medevac, more or less. But anyways, I do not see him putting these units on auto repair yet, which I'm a little bit surprised about that, because having those SCVs on the front lines to auto repair is definitely a good thing to think about. But it looks like he is going to force the Zerg player MaDFroG to back off once again, and putting up yet another orbital command here, or command center anyways. He may actually be transforming that. No, he is transferring into orbital command. Okay, so he is going to come out here and try to push against these battle cruisers and Vikings. A lot of those Mutalisks going down straight away, but you can see that those Corruptors are just too much for those Thors, for those Vikings and battle cruisers to handle, and the Corruptor's going to manage to push back all these Vikings. And there are a ton of anti-air units here right now, though, between the Vikings, the turrets, and the Thors. Those Corruptors are going to have to back off, and some more Speedlings just absolutely getting burned up by these Hellions, although there are enough of them to force these Hellions to just go down without much of a fight at all. Although it looks like he did manage to take down a decent number of those Zerglings that were chasing him, there are still a ton of Zerglings on the map, and with how many Zerglings are here, I don't think they're going to have any problem taking down the rest of these Terran units. And actually TLO moving across, going to take the expansion right on the front doorstep of MaDFrog's base here on the left side of the map, and moving up with his units into this expansion, going to try to take it out, which actually I don't know how much that's going to hurt him actually finally losing that, because MaDFrog does have another expansion down at the 6 o'clock position, so taking both the natural and the main down there. As you can see, both players kind of agreeing to split this map right down the middle here, and a ton of creep tumors being put down by MaDFrog at this base right now. He really wants to keep TLO from being able to build a base over here, so going to try to get all those creep tumors down, forcing the Terran player to use up energy scanning over here and take those creep tumors out. But as you can see, as I was mentioning a little bit ago, both players kind of agreeing at this point to split the map in half, it looks like. But as you can see, from the top right to the bottom left is where it's basically split. MaDFrog taking all the bases from the bottom and the right, and then TLO now has control of all the bases on the top and the left. And Broodlord's now moving out, going to take on this Terran ground army. Although there are a couple Thors here, I don't think that's going to be enough. But here come the Vikings. They're going to be able to focus fire down those Broodlords really quickly here. Already 2 going down. The Corruptors coming up into play here, forcing those Vikings to back off, and a ton of Zerglings coming and taking out those Thors, and then also now going for some of the turrets here, taking those turrets out really quick because he does not have any more anti-air to help. And a lot of Vikings here still on the map for TLO, so he is going to be, once again, it looks like MaDFrog is going to be pushed back. He is going to be forced to get some more anti-air up here so that he can deal with this Viking threat, and they are just picking off all of his overlords right now. And MaDFrog has actually been put into the red, so he is going to have a hard time catching up with this right now until he can get some more units out, because he is going to have to get those overlords in order to deal with this, and his army actually just being taken out so he can continue to produce. Although here comes some Zerglings, going to do some harassment at a couple of the bases here, trying to take out the Hellions that are defending the base on the far side here, but those Hellions just clean up all those Zerglings with the help of that battlecruiser overhead. And it looks like the one battlecruiser going to be able to hold off the Zerglings over here at the expansion. Although one lone Zergling left here as his friends come into play, going to take out the rest of the Harvesters at this expansion here and managing to come out and take out some Hellions as well. But these BCs are going to make quick work of the rest of these Zerglings, it looks like, although not before they managed to take out a few more turrets and the refineries at this base. That orbital command is in no danger of going down anytime soon, though. And here come the Vikings. Apparently they managed to take out the expansion at the bottom here, and there is nothing here to defend. He is going to need to get, MaDFroG is going to need to get some units over here. He is going to lose a lot of expansions here very quickly, it looks like. And MaDFroG continuing to put up the creep tumors at this base so that his Terran opponent, TLO, cannot build there. And TLO managing to take out yet another expansion for MaDFroG. So MaDFroG, once again, is losing a lot of expansions right now. He's going to need to get those back up and running very soon here, or he is actually going to find himself on the other side of that economic disadvantage, because he had the economic advantage against TLO for so long, and these two bases going down so quickly are just putting him in a bad spot right now. And if you look at the income, you can see that TLO has a huge advantage, about 1,000 minerals, give or take, right now of an advantage on MaDFroG. So he is just going to be resourcing like a fiend. But looking at the map, once again, you can see that TLO has control of this top in the left side of the maps right now. So he is just going to continue to resource, and apparently just going to long distance mine at the expansion here at the on the left side, the main at the 9 o'clock position. But not going to try to take out these creep tumors yet for some reason. So I guess he's just going to deal with long distance mining at that base for the time being. But there are a scary amount of BCs starting to build up, and especially with the help of these Vikings, he's going to have a hard time dealing with that. Although here come a decent amount of Hydralisks managing to take out the Thor that was helping to defend. But those Hellions just do so much damage to Hydras, and MaDFroG is going to GG. So this game going to TLO, it seemed like MaDFroG had a fantastic lead earlier in the game, but TLO managing to claw his way back into this game, and you can just see how powerful the Terran mech army is, along with the assistance of those VCs and Vikings. A great unit combination from TLO, and managing to take game number 5 from MaDFroG in the series. Once again, if you have not been keeping track, TLO is now ahead 3-2, so we are going to move on to game number 6 next. Thanks for watching, guys. GG.